All right, guys, next up we have the matchup between Michigan State and Mississippi State, the 8-9 game. And Michigan State, first off, impressive. They got to a 9 seed. I don't know how they're not in the play-in. They have 14 losses. This is Tom Izzo's name alone getting them to a 9 seed. They've got no business being a 9 seed, I'll be honest with you. With that being said, though, I'm not saying they can't win a couple games. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at Michigan State's resume here a little bit. All right, you've got obviously the first game of the season, overtime loss to James Madison. Now, that is a tournament loss, so it's not that bad of a loss, but it is the James Madison nonetheless. All right, you've got a single-digit loss to Duke. All right, that's not a bad loss at all. We know Duke can play. You've got a win over Butler by 20. That's a pretty good win there for Michigan State. Single-digit loss to Arizona. So that's single-digit losses to Arizona, to Duke. Keep that in mind. All right, then we've got a 13-point loss to Wisconsin. Wisconsin kind of improving as of late. That's a solid loss. You've got a loss to Nebraska. That's a tournament loss. You've got a win over Baylor. Really good win there by 24. Baylor, we know what they're capable of. That's a really, really good win. You've got a win over Oakland. That is a tournament team. Win over Indiana State. All right, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we know about him. Let's see, a loss versus Northwestern. That's another tournament loss. Loss versus Illinois by 3. That's a really impressive loss. Winners of the Big Ten. Loss versus Wisconsin again. Now, Minnesota, this is probably their worst loss of the year. All right. Minnesota had a good record, but not really anywhere near the tournament picture, but only lost by 3, so that's not terrible. They did beat Illinois. All right. We know what Illinois is capable of. I think Illinois is a Final Four caliber team, so that's a really good win there for Michigan State. Let you know what they're capable of. They can beat Illinois. They can play with Arizona. They can play with Duke. They can also beat Baylor. This team's capable of winning some ball games and making a run, I think. Let's see. Lost to Iowa. Iowa's right on that cut line. Same with Ohio State, like right cut off the bubble. Close loss to Purdue. Close loss to Purdue. And then a 1-point loss to Indiana. So as you can see, not really any bad losses here as far as why they're ranked what they are. All right, let's look at Mississippi State now. All right, Mississippi State 21-13. So not too dissimilar on the amount of losses and wins, but Mississippi State just felt a little more impressive. But really looking at Michigan State, they didn't have any bad losses, to be honest with you. All right, so Mississippi State win over Washington State. All right, Washington State is a tournament team. Win over Northwestern. Loss versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech beat some really good teams this year. Kind of a weird year. Georgia Tech had the best quad 1 win percentage out of anybody, but lost to some really bad teams. Looking at other ones here, let's see. They lost to South Carolina, tournament team. Beat Tennessee. Lost to Alabama, Kentucky, both good losses. Lost to Florida. Lost to Ole Miss, which is kind of right on that cut line as well. Lost by 30 to Alabama. That's tough right there, losing by 30. And then Kentucky, Auburn, A&M, South Carolina, Auburn again, all tournament losses right there. Also beating Tennessee. So this team could beat Tennessee. We know what that means they're capable of. All right, Tennessee's really impressive this year. So really both these teams, I think this is a good matchup that both these teams could give Uconn a run. Not saying they're going to beat them, but I think both these teams can play with them. Not Uconn. I said Uconn. But I think both these teams can play with the 1 seed in their region. Michigan State in particular, we saw what they were capable of last year. They made a pretty good run. They've got those guys back in Hogard and Walker. I think Michigan State can play with some people and can shock some people. Sometimes when Michigan State's a lower seed, you'll see them go on a run here. But this is no cakewalk here. I think this is a really good 8-9 matchup, as most of them are going to be. I think Michigan State's going to win this one, but it's going to be a really close game down to the wire, I think. But I think Michigan State just edges out Mississippi State. But let me know who you think is going to win this one down in the comment section. Also, you'll see this little ticker below. I am hosting a tournament group. If you're interested in joining, go to my channel, go to the community tab. You'll find the link there. All you got to do, be a subscriber, join it, and then you'll get in the running for the first place winner wins a free AG t-shirt. Again, to find that, go to the community tab and then click the link. But let me know who you think wins this game down in the comment section. Like this video, and most importantly, subscribe.